Hello, good morning students. Today I am going to teach the topic of fractions. What do you mean by fractions? You already know about the meaning of fractions and how to solve a fraction problems, no? Yeah, fraction is nothing but dividing a object into equal parts or unequal parts as many parts, no? See the definitions. A fraction is defined as a small or tiny part, amount, or proportion of something. It has a numerator and denominator. That means fraction ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ನ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಟೈನಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. What it carries in fraction? ಏನೇನಿರುತ್ತೆ fraction ಅಲ್ಲಿ? Numerator and denominator. Let us see the parts of a fraction. Let us see the parts of a fraction. Check out the image below. See here the image of 5 by 8. Is it visible now? Yeah. 5 by 8. Here 5 is considered as numerator. The place in the 5 is known as numerator and 8 is denominator. Between the numerator and denominator there one line is drawn, that known as line. It call it as 5 by 8. 5 by 8. A fraction has 3 parts. Still at the parts of 3 parts. I already said numerator, denominator and a line. Let us see what is meant by numerator. Numerator, the top half of a fraction that represents the number of parts you have. Okay. The top half of a fraction that represents the number of parts you have. In the above example, 5 is the numerator. That means top half of a fraction. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 5 ಅನ್ನೋದು numerator ಆಗಿದೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು part ನ divide ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ numerator ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Next, denominator. The bottom half of a fraction that represents the number into which the whole object is divided. In the above example, 8 is the numerator. ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ನ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಕ್ಕೆ ಡಿನಾಮಿನೇಟರ್ ನ ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. In the above example, 8 is the denominator, no? Next, the third part is line. The line that divides the numerator and denominator. I already said, no? The line refers to the parts can be divided into two. This line represents the numerator and the denominator as in the equal or unequal parts. Let us move on to the types of fraction. Types of fractions. Yeah, the first one is proper fraction. What do you mean by proper fraction? A proper fraction definition is when numerator is lesser than denominator. That is, when the numerator of a fraction is less than denominator, the fraction is called proper fraction. That means numerator ಅಲ್ಲಿ smallest number ಇರಬೇಕು, denominator ಅಲ್ಲಿ larger number ಇರಬೇಕು. That known as proper fraction. ಏನು proper fraction ಅಂದ್ರೆ denominator should be carry a larger number than a numerator. Numerator ಗಿಂತ denominator larger number ಇರಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ proper fraction. Shall we take one more example? Four divided by 9. Is it a proper fraction? Yeah, it is proper fraction because 9 is greater than 4. So 9 is larger number, 4 is smaller number. So it is proper fraction. Let us take one more example. 10 by 2. Is it a proper fraction? No. Why? Because Why? Because 10 is greater than 2. This is not considered as a proper fraction. Did you understand what do you mean by proper fraction? Proper fraction is nothing but numerator of a fraction is less than a denominator. Next, move to the improper fraction. Improper fraction is a vice versa of a proper fraction. Is it no? See the definition. When numerator is greater than denominator, that is, when the numerator is greater than the denominator, the fraction is called an improper fraction. Here it represents the numerator is greater than denominator as a symbolic. That meaning is when the numerator is greater than a denominator, that means denominator should be small number, and numerator should be carries a large number. It is a vice versa of proper fraction. Let us take an example. 9 divided by 2. Is it a proper fraction or improper fraction? Yes, it is a improper fraction because 2 is smallest number, 9 is greatest number. So this statement is true for improper fraction. What do you mean by improper fraction? Numerator is greater than denominator. What do you mean by proper fraction? Numerator of a fraction is less than denominator. Okay. Next, move to the mixed fraction. Mixed fraction definition refers to that a fraction comprising a natural number and the fraction is called a mixed fraction. Last class we discussed about what is natural number and whole number. Now here it should be concluded. A fraction comprising a natural number and a fraction is called mixed fraction. Why it is occur natural number than a whole number? Whole number anta kodboದಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕೆ natural number anta ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ? Because natural number does not exist a zero. The natural number starts from 1 to infinity, but a whole number starts from 0 to infinity. Is it no? Yeah. Let us see the examples. 2 by 5. How we read? ಹೇಗೆ ಓದಬೇಕು ಇದನ್ನ? 22 by 5 ಅಂತ ಓದ್ತೀರಾ or 2 by 25 ಅಂತ ಓದ್ತೀರಾ? No, it is a wrong way. We should read in this way as a 2 by 5. Okay, 2 by 5. Here 2 refers to the natural number. ಈ 2 ಗೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? Natural number ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Then as usual this 2 refers the numerator and 5 refers to the denominator. The numerator and denominator carries that known as a fraction. No? Did you understand? How it is converted into a proper fraction or an improper fraction? Let us see about that. 2 by 5 is there, no? What is here? 2 by 5. Is it a question? No. We should convert it into a proper or improper fraction. Let us see. We should multiply this 5 into 2. Put it here as a multiplication symbol and in space of this between put as a addition symbol. Yeah. 5 2s are 10. Is it no? 10. And 10 plus 2? 10 plus 2 is equal to 10 plus 2, 12. And denominator is as it is as like this. 12 by 5. Which fraction is this? How fraction baratta? Is it a proper or improper? Is it a proper or improper? See here. Which one? Yeah, this is which fraction? You have to find and answer me on the assignment itself. Okay, I won't tell about it. You should answer it. Which fraction is this? 12 by 5 is which fraction? Okay. And I thought you might have know about the mixed fraction, or otherwise we should take another one example. Wait. Remember this? We have to answer about this 12 by 5 is on which fraction? Is it improper or proper fraction? Remember and answer for this. I won't give the question below this. You should remember and answer for this as a volunteer, okay? Let us take another one mixed fraction example. Here we should write the natural number 4. 4, 6 by 6 by 2. This is a mixed fraction. How it should be converted? Put is here as a multiplication symbol, here as a addition symbol. 4 2s are 8. 8 plus 6, 14. 14 by, as it is, this denominator comes here, 2. This like we have to convert mixed fraction into a proper fraction. Okay? Go through it, watch properly, then only you can understand. Next, move on to the like fractions. Like fraction definition refers that fractions that have the same denominator are like fractions. For example, the fraction 2 by 7, 3 by 7, 5 by 7 and 6 by 7. Here all have the same denominator as 7. Okay. Hence these are like fraction. ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ like fraction ಅಂದ್ರೆ every fraction's denominator must be in the same number or a same digit or a same natural number. That fraction is known as a like fraction. Here denominator 2 by 7 denominator carries 7. 3 by 7 denominator carries 7. 5 by 7 denominator carries 7. 6 by 7 denominator carries 7. So this fraction is comes under the like fractions. Did you understand? Yeah, fraction that have same denominator, that fraction is known as a like fractions. Next, move to the unlike fractions. What do you mean by unlike fractions? Fractions that have different denominator are called unlike fraction. This is a vice versa of a like fractions. Andre vice versa andre ಏನು ಉಲ್ಟಾ. ಅದು ಡಿನಾಮಿನೇಟರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅನ್ಲೈಕ್ ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನೋಡಿ, 2 by 3 and 1 by 4. Here 3 is a denominator, 4 is a denominator. Here 2 has different denominator. No, here 3 is there, here 4 is there. So this should be a different number. So it is known as a unlike fraction. Next, equivalent fractions. What it is? Equivalent fraction. Equivalent fraction refers that fractions that upon simplification gives the same value or called equivalent fraction. For example, 1 by 2 or 50 by 100 are equal to 0.5. That means every fractions or some other like or unlike fraction should give the same answer. Here see that 1 by 2 is there. If we divide 1 by 2, we get the answer as 0.5. If we divide 50 by 100, we get the answer 0.5. So that fraction is known as equivalent fraction. This fraction is not necessary for your syllabus. Just hold on your knowledge itself, okay? Hence these are equivalent fraction. Next, move on to the seventh type of fraction is unit fraction. A fraction whose numerator is 1 and the denominator is a positive integer is called a unit fraction. You already know what you mean by integer or a positive integer or a negative integer, whole numbers, natural numbers. No? See the definition and understand by your knowledge. A fraction whose numerator is 1 and The denominator is a positive integer. That means numerator should be in the number of 1 and the denominator should be in the positive integer, not to be in a negative integer. Negative integer na hold ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಅದು. Numerator ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1 ಇರಬೇಕು, denominator ಅಲ್ಲಿ positive ಇರಬೇಕು. 1 to 9. Yeah, 1 to 9 or 1 to infinity, anything is there, it should be in the positive. That fraction is only considered as a unit fraction. Okay, I repeat once. Unit fraction ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗಿರಬೇಕು, numerator ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1 ಇರಬೇಕು, denominator ಅಲ್ಲಿ positive integers ಇರಬೇಕು. That fraction known as unit fractions. Okay, next, did you understand? Yeah, of course. Next, move to the decimals. What do you mean by decimals? Decimals are one of the types of numbers which has a whole number and a fractional part separated by a decimal point. The dot present between the whole numbers and fraction part is called the decimal point. Decimals means it's the one of the type of number. Idu ಒಂದು numbers ಅಲ್ಲಿ we have learned the 4 types of number now. First one natural number, whole numbers, integer numbers, and last one is rational numbers. This is also a type of numbers which has a whole number and the fractional part. Idralli whole number irutte, fractional part agu irutte. That represent, and between the whole number and the fraction alli ಒಂದು dot na represent ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Dot ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, decimal point ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Let us see the one example. 34.5 is a decimal number. 34.5 is a decimal number. See here, 34 is a whole number. ಈ 34 ನ ಏನಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, whole number ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಆ ನಂಬರ್ ನ ನಾವು ಅಥವಾ ಆ ಡಿಜಿಟ್ಸ್ ನ ನಾವು ಹೋಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ beside of the point in the right side ಇರೋದನ್ನ fractional part ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ 34 35 ಮಧ್ಯ ಒಂದು ನಂಬರ್ ಲೈನ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ 34 35 ಮಧ್ಯ ಇರೋಂತ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಇರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತೀವಿ, 0.5 ಅಂತ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಈಗ ನೀವು ಟೇಕ್ ಒಂದ್ ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ನ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, 1 ಇಂದ 2 ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇರೋದು ಕೌಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. In between ಅಲ್ಲಿ the little bit longest line ಇರುತ್ತೆ, that line known as a 0.5. ಓಕೆನಾ, ಅಂಡ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನ ಡೆಸಿಮಲ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ one more information is there, that is, wait, 41 point here. How to we read ಇದನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಓದ್ತೀವಿ, 41.7 ಅಂತ ಓದ್ತೀವಿ. If it is another one digit is added, how to read? May I read is as like a 41.72? No, it is wrong. Beside this point we have to read in a digit itself, not the numbers of a continuous. 41.72 ಏನಂತ ಓದ್ತೀವಿ, 41.72 ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಡಿಜಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಓದ್ತೀವಿ. ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇಂದ ಮುಂದೆ ಇರೋ ನಂಬರ್ ನ ನಾವು ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಡಿಜಿಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಓದ್ತೀವಿ. ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ನಾಟ್ ರೀಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್ 41.72. okay, we can read this like 41.72. if another one digit is represent, how to we read? Yeah, we can read this 41.726. 41.726, not a 726. okay, remember this. okay, next move on to the types of decimal number. Decimal numbers may be of different kinds, namely recurring decimal numbers, that means repeating, or non-terminating decimal numbers. ಏನು ರಿಕರಿಂಗ್ ಡೆಸಿಮಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್, ಇದನ್ನ ಏನಂತಾನು ಕರಿಬಹುದು ನಾವು, ರಿಪೀಟಿಂಗ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿಬಹುದು, ನಾನ್ ಟರ್ಮಿನೇಟಿಂಗ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿಬಹುದು. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನೋಡಿ, 3 ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಓದ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ Can I read this as like a 125 or 125? No, we can read in a single digit way. 3.125125. ಓಕೆ, ಇದನ್ನ ಹೀಗೆ ಓದಬೇಕು. 3.125125. This is a finite. That means here 125 repeated as 2 times. No, ನೋಡಿ 125 125 ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇಂದ ಮುಂದೆ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ರಿಕರಿಂಗ್ ಡೆಸಿಮಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ರಿಪೀಟೆಡ್ decimal numbers, otherwise non-terminating decimal numbers. 3 way allo ನಾವು ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. See the second example. 3.1212121212. It is infinite. Full 12121212 can be represent ಬರಬಹುದು. ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. 12121212 ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆಲ್ಲ so many times. That decimal is known as a same recurring or repeating or non-terminating decimal numbers. A number which can be repeated after the decimal point, that number is known as the recurring decimal numbers. Okay, next, non-recurring decimal numbers. That means vice versa of recurring decimal numbers. Illi repeat ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ non-recurring means can't repeating, not repeating, non-repeating ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Example, 3 point. Can I read this as 2376? No, we can't read like that. We can read 3.2376. So here no one digit can be repeated. ಯಾವ ನಂಬರ್ ಸಮೇತ, ಯಾವ ಡಿಜಿಟ್ ಸಮೇತ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ? So it is a finite. ಯಾವುದು ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, so it is non-recurring decimal numbers. As usual, the second example, 3.137654. This is a infinite. Point ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, we can write another number or another digit. ಇನ್ನು division ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ point ನ ಬರಿತೀವಿ. Here also after the decimal point nothing, no number can be repeated. So this is known as the non-recurring decimal numbers. Okay, in decimals there are two parts, two types: recurring decimal numbers or non-recurring decimal numbers. In recurring decimal numbers, after the decimal point, the number or a digit can be repeated. But in non-recurring decimal numbers, after the decimal point, the number should not be repeated again and again. That known as non-recurring decimal number. Okay. Can we recall once? Today we learned about the, what do you mean by fraction? Parts of a fraction. In a part of a fraction, 3 parts are there. First one is numerator. The upper half of a fraction is known as a numerator. Denominator is bottom half of a fraction is known as a denominator. And in between the numerator and denominator, we can put a one line for the separation of numerator and denominator. Okay. Next, move on to the types of fraction. There are 7 types of fraction. First one is proper fraction. Proper fraction is nothing but numerator of a fraction is less than a denominator, and improper fraction is vice versa of proper fraction. Numerator is greater than the denominator. Numerator denominator ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನಂಬರು ಲಾರ್ಜರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇನಂತೀವಿ? ಇಂಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ. In mixed fraction there are 3 parts. In between that, natural number, upper is the numerator, downwards is the denominator. And we have learned how to solve it as a proper or improper fraction. Next, like fraction, every denominator should be on a same number. That is known as a like fraction. Unlike fraction is a vice versa of like fraction. The denominator should not be in a equal digit or equal number. It's a different denominator is known as unlike fraction. Equivalent fraction is any two fractions. If we divide, we can get a one equal resultant or answer, that known as the equivalent fraction. In a unit fraction, the numerator should be 1 and the denominator should be in a positive integer, not a only integer, positive integers. And decimals, we already know what do you mean by decimals, types of decimals, and how to read the decimal point after the decimals points, no? And the types of decimals are recurring decimal numbers and non-recurring decimal numbers. I hope you all understand about today's concept. It is too easy. Go through this video again and again. Learn very well. It's useful to your further educations and the further academic year of the 7th and 6th standards. Okay. And here some questions are I mentioned. Answer these questions from the above definitions. First one, define fraction. I already put there. What do you mean by fraction? Mention the types of fraction. Define mixed fraction. Give example. See here I asked every fraction as a one example. You should write the example in your different ways. Don't copy from above. Okay? ಮೇಲಿರೋದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಕೊ ಬರಿಬೇಡಿ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರೀರಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋದನ್ನೇ ತಗೋ ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇನಿಲ್ಲ. You already know what do you mean by mixed fraction, unit fraction, like, unlike. So you can create your own examples. And define decimals. Mention the types of decimals. Here second one, refer, identify the following fraction. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋ 4/8, 9/2, 1/6, 2/3 and 5/2, 7/2, 5/2, 10/2, 5/9, 6/3, 7/2, 8/9. You should mention which fraction is comes. 4/8 ಯಾವ fraction ಅಂತ ಬರೀರಿ, 9/2 ಯಾವ fraction ಅಂತ ಬರೀರಿ. Okay? Did you understand? Yeah, I might you all understand very well. I think you have chapter on this in this academic year. So go through it well. This is all a basics. Further, you have to solve some problems on the decimals and some fractions. So don't neglect. Read well, learn well, practice well. If any doubt, ask to me. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.